But of course, it wouldn't be right if I didn't call out the other side. There's a person over at Destructoid who created an article about wanting to create a Objectify Men Day to try to combat hidden sexism. Trying to talk about this idea that we're conditioned as men sometimes to act or find something appealing or attractive. Never mind the actual nuances and mechanisms of human sexuality and preferences. And that if we had women objectifying men, maybe then we would realize how hurtful it is, and on and on. I'm going to read small excerpts. It's a very long article. It means well, it really does. But this is, again, like trying to say that if I, as an artist, happen to draw a woman who's a size 0 or has unrealistic proportions to her, that on some level, this is even trying to make the case that on some level, unconsciously, I'm oppressing or objectifying women by doing so. Instead of this being something that I'm creating because it makes me happy, that I'm creating maybe for mass consumption, but mainly that I'm creating for me. Art is not usually something that is simply, I'm making this for the public because I want the public to enjoy it or public to like it. And suddenly my personal preferences, my sexuality, and any sexuality I use in my art is inherently sexist and wrong. And that's not right. That's stupid, to say the least. But as I said, some studios, some artists, they are overtly sexist, and that is not correct. And that is something that I believe is worth calling out. But when the other side takes it too far, like Objectify a Man Day, I'm sorry. No. No. Combating hidden sexism with Objectify a Man Day. Of course, they all have lovely bottoms. For men to compliment women is far more common than for the reverse to happen. It's one of those socializing traits people barely notice unless they're particularly alerted. What with it being so widespread, so's to be ubiquitous. Unsurprisingly, the majority of compliments directly towards women tend to praise the appearance as opposed to the ability or the personality. The overall effect is one that can breed frustration in recipients as it reinforces harmful gender roles. Well, yeah, but that's not entirely guys' faults. We're at the mercy to some degree of society wanting to believe that boys should be all blue and girls should be all pink, and if a guy dares to touch a Barbie doll, then he is to be corrected by any means necessary. And if a girl likes cars, she is equally to be corrected as necessary, because boys like cars and girls like dolls, and so on and so forth. Not to mention, we have the bitch mentality amongst other issues that try to make it to where we are supposed to compliment the appearance. And then you've got these women who I've dealt with in my life, because in my life, at least my professional life, I am a polite gentleman. Not because I think it's expected of me, but it's in my nature. It's part of how I was raised, but I also find that it's usually something that people enjoy. But I meet women who act as if I'm frontin'. Women who act as if they can't believe that I could be a guy and be nice, and actually compliment them on a personality trait or an ability. And then it becomes awkward, because then I'm wrong. I'm sexist somehow, and this becomes a gigantic cluster screw of a situation when I was simply trying to do what polite protocol would call. There are women who are literally offended by being respected. And I'm not saying that this article isn't necessarily taking that entirely into account, but you've got so many types of pressures out there that try to say, if you're not like this, then you're part of the problem of what men are. You're part of the fucking patriarchy that apparently is ruling the world and ruining the lives of women everywhere. It is on the basis that Leah Alexander and Ben Abram have organized Objectify a Male Tech Writer Day, or simply Objectify a Man Day. On February 1st, my birthday? You mother... I'm going to break my rule here. You motherfuckers, you're doing it on my birthday. I've already had a shuttle explode on my birthday. Yeah, over Texas, that one that happened a few years ago. And now I got to deal with this kind of... Oh, God, why? On February 1st, participants will see to their Twitters and Facebook as per usual, with the caveat that anything they link should be authored by a man will be supplemented with needless compliments on the chap's appearance, with the hashtag #objectify. The goal is to raise awareness of how well-intentioned remarks can nonetheless make you feel undermined or patronized. Yeah, just like the women who literally get offended by being respected. Of which I only have one thing to say to some of those women I've had to deal with, and that would be, gosh, I have just such a dang itchy face. Anyways, I digress. No. No. Because how is this any different than Rebecca Watson and the lunacy that was Elevator Gate, where she admitted that she was politely asked in an elevator by a gentleman to have coffee and a conversation, which she took to be that he wanted to just bend her over, rip off her panties, and screw her like a dog. And it's in all her talk of her assumptions that in this guy's mind he was not caring about her ability, even when he complimented her ability in that talk, that he thought she was smart, she was well reasoned, and on and on. She didn't care about that. No, that was secret man code for, I want to do you doggy style while your head is bonking against the headboard because I don't care about your getting off. I just want to get off inside of you, because that's all that men do, right? We're all about sex 24/7, and any compliment we give is just our chance at trying to get inside your pants, as has been related to me by some women who wouldn't know what real respect of them is if it smacked them right in the face. And no, I'm not for violence against women, but no, I'm not going to defend my analogy. Take it or leave it. And if you're going to call me an abusive misogynist, remember, I stayed with a woman for 5 years who beat the crap out of me, whom I never laid a finger on. So, eat me. But I digress. No, I hate this. I hate this because this becomes this thing where if a man dares to compliment a woman, whether there's any sexual connotations to it or not, there's sexual connotations to it. And then you want to make things worse by creating a situation of women to falsely, on my birthday, you dicks, to falsely compliment guys with things that are supposed to have false sexual undertones, because somehow this will teach us with our male brains that are constantly sexually oppressing and objectifying women. Never mind the basis of human sex and sexuality. Never mind that objectification is what brings people together at times. Never mind any of this. No, it's guys you're doing it wrong, guys. Don't ever compliment a woman on her appearance unless you're in a relationship with her. And even then, you got to be careful, because that objectification is a slippery slope, and you don't want to be objectifying your girlfriend or your mom or your sister or your daughter. You can read the rest of this article. It's got good intentions, okay? Let's be fair. But it's going about it the wrong way. As I myself in the comments section had pointed out, which some of you may agree with, some of you may not agree with, but there was another guy who pointed out rather better than me, and I applauded this person's pointing this out. Because I don't like it. It sets the idea that if you compliment a woman, you are wrong. You are objectifying her. You are reducing her down to a pair of tits or her hair or her teeth or her whatever. Never mind these women who come at you and go, well, is anybody going to compliment me about my hair? God, I get it. I'll go through all this trouble and nobody will talk about it. It's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but if I compliment you on my hair, I'm objectifying you. Oh, if I compliment you on your makeup, I'm sexualizing you. If I Stop it. Stop it. Whether you're a man or a woman, I know you want equality. I know you want a workplace that's free of sexual hostility and harassment. And there's nothing wrong with that. But one person's compliment, as this is showing, is another person's subconscious sexual harassment. And the moment we start getting into talks about waxing philosophically about unconscious sexual objectification, you can just screw right off with that. That is not a conversation. It's not a conversation we need to have. It's not a conversation we should be having. It's a non-thing. And you want to turn it into a thing and then vilify men, much like Rebecca Watson, for being polite. Now, granted, I'm not saying that men need to compliment all the time or they need to be over complimentary, but we can't frickin' win. We really can't. If we compliment, we're sexualizing. We don't compliment, we're being ignoring, or we're being passive against that. Stop it. Just stop it. Article's down in the underbar.